Universal's Epic Universe burst onto the scene in May 2025, and let me tell you, it's hands down the most ambitious theme park ever created. With a jaw-dropping price tag of around $7 billion, Epic Universe marks the first new theme park to hit Orlando since Universal's own Islands of Adventure debuted 26 years ago in May 1999. But this isn't just another Orlando theme park, it's a game changer. Epic Universe smashes through the barriers separating Universal and Disney, delivering the most cutting-edge, immersive theme park experiences in the world. More than that, it's Universal's bold move to massively expand its presence in Orlando, where it's long been overshadowed by Disney. Let's put this in perspective. Disney has dominated with 4 full theme parks, 2 water parks, and a staggering 19 resorts spread across an incredible 25,000 acres of land. Geographically, Universal can't compete with that kind of sprawl. But with Epic Universe now joining its lineup, Universal boasts 3 amazing theme parks, a world-class water park with Volcano Bay, and 11 hotels. That's enough firepower to seriously challenge Disney's throne in Orlando, where Universal has always played second fiddle until now. With Epic Universe and its 3 stunning new hotels officially open, the big question on everyone's mind is, what's next? The park launched with built-in expansion pads, ready for future attractions or even entire new lands. But today, I'm not just focusing on what's next inside Epic Universe. I want to dive into the bigger picture. How much further can Universal expand in Orlando? Before I even get to the future, I also want to recap the fascinating history of how Universal got to this point in the first place. Let's dive into the evolution of Universal Orlando and what set the stage for the game-changing Epic Universe expansion. Looking at the current state of the original Universal area nestled west of I-4, you can see that it's developed to the max. But let's look back at how it got there and rewind to 1985, before Universal Orlando was even a thing. Back then, the land was mostly undeveloped, but even at that point, you could see the space was limited. Universal Studios Florida opened in 1990, and expansion was already on Universal's mind at that point. By 1995, the park was thriving with surface parking lots sprawling to the east and south, plus a chunk of undeveloped land nearby. Construction began in 1995 on a new expansion, and in 1999, Universal opened their brand new second theme park, Islands of Adventure, City Walk, and a few hotels, cleverly building over those parking lots and shifting guest parking to the 2 massive new garages. By the mid-2010s, Universal had nearly maxed out their original plot. But there was one outlier, the Wet 'n Wild property on the other side of I-4. Opened in 1977 by SeaWorld creator George Millet, this water park was a pioneer on International Drive, debuting just 6 years after Disney's Magic Kingdom. In 1998, as Universal was busy building Islands of Adventure and City Walk, they bought up Wet 'n Wild, but kept leasing the land for more than a decade. Then came 2011, which was a massive turning point for Universal Orlando. In 2011, Universal was acquired by Comcast, and just a year earlier, they unleashed the groundbreaking wizarding world of Harry Potter in Islands of Adventure. This land redefined theme park immersion, putting Universal head-to-head with Disney in the battle for who does it better. New owner Comcast saw the crowds and cash pouring in and knew they had a goldmine. From 2006 to 2010, Universal was pretty much at a plateau of around 11 million guests per year, but that quickly shot up to 13 million in 2011 and then continued to grow. That's when they set their sights on the Wet 'n Wild property. In 2013, they bought the land and its adjacent parking lot for $30.9 million with plans to transform it. The plan was to demolish the aging water park and build a brand new state-of-the-art water park from the ground up. By 2015, Volcano Bay was under construction on the last remaining vacant portion of the original plot of land, and a year later, Wet 'n Wild closed for good. In its place, Universal built the new Surfside Inn and Suites and Dockside Inn and Suites, forming the Endless Summer Resort. At that point, there was nowhere else to expand in that immediate area. But here's the kicker. With their original land totally built out and redeveloping already existing areas being a costly long shot, Universal had to look elsewhere. Enter Epic Universe, the next chapter in their quest to redefine the theme park landscape. The history of Epic Universe is a fascinating one. Before I go back to the beginning, this is the current Epic Universe theme park, and this is the extent of land that is currently owned by Universal. For perspective, here it is in comparison to the original parks, located roughly 2 miles to the south. But to understand how this colossal project came to be, we need to journey back to its origins. In the 1950s, the Martin Company, later known as Lockheed Martin, established a manufacturing plant in the Orlando area to support the booming space race at Cape Canaveral. The facility focused on missiles and aerospace systems, developing iconic programs like the Pershing and Patriot missiles and contributing to NASA's Gemini program through the Titan rockets. Fun fact, in the 1970s, this very plant built Disney's first monorail cars. Fast forward to 1998 when Universal saw an opportunity. Lockheed Martin owned 1,800 acres of excess land south and east of the plant, once used for missile testing. Universal, riding high on the upcoming opening of Islands of Adventure, purchased this land with grand visions: 2 new theme parks, 7 or 8 hotels, and a vibrant City Walk-style entertainment district, all strategically positioned across from the Orange County Convention Center, a hub for massive crowds. Universal and Lockheed Martin invested millions of dollars to remediate environmental contamination on the site, preparing it for redevelopment. But then the plot twisted. At that time, Universal was owned by Vivendi, a French media conglomerate which hit severe financial trouble in 2004. To make itself more appealing to potential buyers or merger partners, Vivendi began shedding assets, including the 1,800-acre parcel. The land was sold to Thomas Enterprises, a Georgia-based developer with plans for a sprawling urban resort. But the real estate crash of the late 2000s derailed those plans. Thomas defaulted on loans, and by late 2015, the land fell into the hands of Colony Capital, a real estate investment firm. Enter Comcast, which had acquired Universal in 2011 and was investing heavily in its theme parks. When Colony Capital signaled its intent to sell the land, Comcast seized the opportunity, repurchasing most of the 1,800 acres for $130 million in 2015. However, there was a catch. Portions of the original land had already been sold off and developed by other entities. Here's a visual comparison of the original 1998 purchase versus what Universal reclaimed in 2015. With the land now zoned for theme parks and back in Universal's hands, Comcast wasted no time. Preparations for Epic Universe began immediately, and the project was officially announced in late 2019. 6 years later, in 2025, Epic Universe opened its gates, marking a new chapter in Universal's legacy, a testament to perseverance and vision. This brings us to the future. As I mentioned earlier, Universal designed Epic Universe with several expansion pads, dedicated plots of land left open for future development. These areas have sparked intense speculation among fans, and today I'll walk you through each one, sharing my thoughts on what might be in store. To set the stage, let's zoom into Epic Universe as it appeared just before its grand opening in early 2025. The park is divided into 7 main areas, each with its own distinct footprint. Celestial Park, spanning roughly 24 acres, Stardust Racers, a dueling roller coaster covering about 8 acres, the Helios Grand Hotel, occupying around 12 acres, How to Train Your Dragon's Isle of Berk, encompassing 14 acres, the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, Ministry of Magic, covering 11 acres, Dark Universe, with about 10 acres, and Super Nintendo World, also around 8 acres. But as you can see, significant portions of the park's footprint remain undeveloped, setting the stage for significant expansion within the park boundaries. Let's start with the largest and most prominent expansion pad located between Stardust Racers and the Wizarding World. This massive plot spans approximately 27 acres, making it the most likely candidate for a new themed portal. Fan speculation has pointed to potential themes like Wicked or Lord of the Rings, both of which could anchor a super immersive new land. Given its size, larger than any existing portal in Epic Universe, this area could support a major addition. However, its proximity to the relatively compact Wizarding World, which currently features just one attraction, leads me to think that part of this land might be used to expand the Ministry of Magic. There's already evidence of movement here. Universal has filed a permit to construct a 17-foot-high sound wall along the 0.53-mile boundary between this plot and the adjacent water treatment plant. This suggests development could begin soon and will likely get clarity on Universal's plans in the near future. Moving clockwise, the next expansion pad lies north of the Helios Grand Hotel and adjacent to the Wizarding World, covering about 4 acres. While I believe a Wizarding World expansion is more likely on the larger plot we just discussed, this smaller area could serve a different purpose. One possibility is a compact water park or pool enhancement tied to the Helios Grand Hotel. The hotel's current pool is surprisingly underwhelming for an upscale Orlando resort, and I could envision Universal developing something like the Marriott World Center's new water park, a few slides, lazy river, or splash zone. It would need to be modest to avoid competing with Volcano Bay, but it could significantly elevate the guest experience at Helios Grand. Alternatively, if Universal moves forward with the plans to use the nearby Lake Peninsula for firework launches, as originally intended, this area might remain back of house for fireworks staging. Continuing around the park, we come to a 3-acre plot behind Dark Universe. This space seems tailor-made for an additional attraction within the relatively small Dark Universe land. On the opposite side of Dark Universe lies a larger 7-acre expansion pad. While this may be slightly too small for a full-fledged new portal, it's perfectly suited for an expansion of Super Nintendo World. Rumors have swirled around potential themes like Luigi's Mansion, Pokemon, or The Legend of Zelda. Of these, Luigi's Mansion feels like the strongest fit, given its thematic synergy with both Super Nintendo World and the spooky aesthetic of Dark Universe. A Luigi's Mansion attraction could even feature dual entrances from both lands, creating a unique crossover experience. While Pokemon or Zelda are also possibilities, I suspect Zelda might instead replace the Lost Continent and Islands of Adventure, leaving this pad for a Nintendo-themed expansion. Next, we have a smaller 1.7-acre plot on the other side of Super Nintendo World. This compact space is ideal for a single high-quality attraction. It could be the perfect home for a Pokemon or Zelda ride should either of those concepts not be built on the other side of the land. Its size makes it versatile but limits its scope to one major attraction. Finally, tucked into a corner behind the Isle of Berk is a small 1-acre plot. This area feels too small and isolated for a major attraction, so if it doesn't remain back of house, I could see it hosting a restaurant or a shop. That covers all the expansion pads within Epic Universe's current boundaries. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. What do you think Universal has planned for these spaces? Whatever it is, I think we still have a lot to see coming at Epic Universe. Now let's broaden our view and explore potential expansion options beyond Epic Universe's borders as Universal's ambitions for this resort continue to evolve. Zooming back out, let's look again at all the land that Universal currently owns. The current portfolio is a patchwork of parcels, but one area stands out as a prime canvas for future growth. Focusing in on the vicinity of Epic Universe, we find a massive expanse dominated by a sprawling surface parking lot and a staging area just across the street. To put this into perspective, Epic Universe itself spans approximately 166 acres, including the lake in its northwest corner. By contrast, this highlighted expansion zone encompasses an impressive 270 acres. While a significant portion of this land is water, likely requiring retention or relocation within the site, it still leaves a developable area larger than Universal's original 2 theme parks combined. Assuming Universal's business continues to thrive, a long-term expansion strategy seems clear. Much like the development of the original resort area, we could see the construction of multi-level parking garages to replace the existing surface lots, freeing up space for a potential second theme park in this area and adjacent parcels. This vision would also likely include a City Walk-style entertainment district, and further down the line, perhaps even a second water park. If these plans come to fruition, Universal Orlando would boast 4 theme parks and 2 water parks, equaling what Disney World currently offers. In fact, Universal could gain a competitive edge here. Disney's sprawling resort, while iconic, can require up to an hour for park hopping due to distances between the parks. Universal, on the other hand, could offer 2 pairs of parks within walking distance of each other, with the 2 clusters separated by just 2 miles. Add to the fact that nearly all of Universal's hotels are within walking distance of its parks. You have a guest experience that's both convenient and efficient. If this vision is realized, Universal could pose a serious challenge to Disney's dominance, potentially surpassing it in annual visitor numbers. Now let's shift our focus to a specific parcel along the western edge of Universal's holdings. This area appears to be the next in line for development. Permits have already been filed under the project name West Parcel Mass Grading, described as the construction and operation of new works, activities, and/or stormwater management systems. The accompanying figure highlights the area slated for grading, which covers roughly 50 acres, a substantial plot. For comparison, Universal Stella Nova and Terra Luna hotel properties each occupy less than 20 acres. Given the size, the most plausible development here seems to be a sprawling new resort complex. Notably, Universal also owns a narrow strip of land north of an adjacent apartment complex, connecting this western parcel directly to Epic Universe. This connection suggests plans for a dedicated transportation link, allowing guests at the potential resort to bypass Universal Boulevard entirely for seamless access to the park. These permits represent the latest confirmed expansion efforts by Universal as of this video. Beyond this, we can only speculate what else may come. Now let's go back and look at all of Universal's land holdings in this area, where we can speculate what their strategy may be in the years to come. First, the western grading area is part of a larger parcel that stretches further north than what's currently included in the grading permit. This means whatever takes shape in the graded area has room to grow in the future. Now, shifting our focus eastward, vast tracts of land stretching far north, bisected by the Florida Turnpike and extending south to Route 528 stand out. These areas are classified by FEMA as regulatory floodways, wetlands where development is heavily restricted. You might wonder, why would Universal acquire these seemingly untouchable lands? The answer lies in Florida's complex water management requirements. To build Epic Universe, Universal had to raise land and reconfigure stormwater retention systems. This required purchasing additional acreage to create stormwater management ponds, retention basins, and other features that ensure equivalent floodwater storage and flow. Owning and managing these floodway areas was critical to securing the necessary permits, allowing the project to move forward legally and sustainably while minimizing environmental impact. It is extremely unlikely that these regulatory floodway areas will ever be developed. Two other parcels Universal acquired also catch the eye, raising intriguing questions about their purpose. Let's zoom in. First, there's a small mysterious plot, mostly a lake, sandwiched between the Hyatt Regency Orlando to the south and a parcel to the north owned by the same developer, which is planning a Grand Hyatt sister resort on that spot. With no clear path for Universal to acquire either Hyatt properties and no connection to any other Universal-owned land, this lake-centric plot likely serves as another wetlands offset to balance the other developments. Next, we have a narrow strip of land at the southern edge of the Rosen Shingle Creek Resort. This resort sits on land Universal originally purchased in 1998 but sold off during Vivendi's ownership and quickly developed with this resort. This strip, too, seems destined to function as a wetlands offset. However, it also sparks a bigger question. Could Universal be eyeing already developed properties for future acquisition to further their ambitious plans? In examining Universal's land holdings from 1998 to their reacquisitions in the 2010s, several key properties stand out that remain outside their ownership. Let's begin where we left off with the Rosen Shingle Creek Resort, a sprawling 260-acre complex that dwarfs the footprint of Epic Universe. Opened in 2006, this AAA four-diamond hotel ranks amongst Florida's largest convention resorts, boasting upscale amenities and an 18-hole golf course. Given its established infrastructure, major redevelopment seems unlikely. However, with Universal now owning nearly all the surrounding land, they might consider acquiring the resort to integrate it into their growing portfolio of hotels. However, it is possible that the expansive golf course, depending on its financial performance, could be reimagined as a new entertainment venue to better align with Universal's vision. Next, we turn to a smaller but noteworthy plot on the west side just east of Topgolf. This vacant parcel was acquired by Ripley Entertainment, known for Ripley's Believe It or Not, in 2016. Initial speculation suggested plans for a new attraction or corporate headquarters, yet the land has remained undeveloped for nearly a decade. The question remains, will Ripley hold on to this property, or can Universal seize the opportunity to acquire it for future expansion? Finally, we consider two major parcels flanking Universal's property: the Orange County South Water Reclamation Facility to the east and the Lockheed Martin facility to the west. Both represent significant hurdles to Universal's expansion ambitions due to their critical functions. The Lockheed Martin site, a cornerstone of Orlando's aerospace industry since 1957, serves as a hub for its missiles and fire control division and training, logistics, and simulation business. Employing nearly 10,000 people, it focuses on cutting-edge defense technologies, including missile systems, electro-optics, and simulation training for U.S. and international clients. With substantial investments in research and development as recently as 2019, it's highly unlikely Lockheed Martin will relocate anytime soon. Similarly, the Orange County Water Treatment Facility has received significant funding for upgrades to reduce odors, and the new sound wall between it and Epic Universe further cements its permanence. Relocating such a vital infrastructure project would be a complex and costly endeavor, making acquisition by Universal a distant prospect. These properties, each with its own unique role, highlight the complexities of Universal's expansion strategy and the challenges posed by neighboring land uses in their quest to shape Orlando's entertainment landscape. As we reflect on Universal Orlando's remarkable journey, from its humble beginnings in 1990 to the groundbreaking opening of Epic Universe in 2025, it's clear that Universal has transformed from an underdog into a formidable contender in Orlando's theme park arena. With 3 world-class theme parks, a cutting-edge water park in Volcano Bay, and an impressive portfolio of 11 hotels, Universal has strategically positioned itself to challenge Disney's long-standing dominance. The story of Epic Universe is not just one of ambition, but of resilience, from navigating financial setbacks and land sales in the early 2000s to reclaiming and reimagining a vast 1,800-acre canvas for a new era of entertainment. Looking ahead, Universal's vision extends far beyond the current attractions of Epic Universe. With carefully planned expansion pads within the park, a massive 270-acre parcel primed for a potential second theme park, and strategic land acquisition signaling even grander plans, Universal is poised to redefine the Orlando experience. The possibility of a seamless resort ecosystem complete with interconnected parks, hotels, and entertainment districts could offer guests unparalleled convenience and immersion, setting a new standard in theme park tourism. As Universal continues to innovate and expand, one thing is certain: Epic Universe is just the beginning. The question isn't whether Universe will keep pushing the boundaries of what a theme park can be, but how far they'll go to reshape Orlando's entertainment landscape. What do you think the future holds for Universal Orlando? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let's keep the conversation going. If you made it all the way to the end, thanks so much for joining me on this deep dive into Universal's epic saga. I had a lot of fun making this, as I love theme parks and love doing deep dives into geographic history. Let me know if there's anything else you'd like to see next. Thanks again, and see you next time.